Welcome back to the Knowledge Gumbo Conversations. As we enter into the last month of the year, uh, let's get excited for what we've done in the past and in the past year, and more excited about what we're going to do in the new year. Hey, Gretchen, how's it going? Thank you for showing up tonight. I appreciate your presence. It's always a blessing. And as I'm working on how I'm going to start off these lives going forward, we're going to try a couple different things. I tried this one last week and I want to use it again this week to let you know that you are loved, you are kind, you are smart, intelligent, you are important, you are necessary. There are pieces to the puzzle that only you can fit. And I'll keep saying it until you get it in your spirit, because that's the truth. You are someone else's blessing, and you just have to realize that. You are necessary. So let's get started with me sharing a snippet from last week's newsletter. I'm going to share the quote that was in last week's newsletter. And if you haven't joined yet, we would love to have you join our community. It's growing steadily every week. Knowledge Gumbo newsletter. You can scan the QR code. Ooh, I actually picked the right side today. And join us. Newsletter comes out every Friday morning, and I guarantee you will learn something new. If nothing else, you will have something that will make you laugh, make you think. So from last week's newsletter, the quote that I shared with the community is one from Viola Davis. And I am a big Viola Davis fan. I really, really think if you have the time, I think you should make the time to go check out her autobiography. And if you really have the time, I suggest you get it on Audible, because hearing her with her theatrical background, it takes you a little bit deeper, I think, than just reading the words on the page would. But this is a quote that I heard from a interview that I watched of her, a short from an interview. And the quote goes as follows: I am the power cord. I am. Every single day when I wake up and put my feet on the floor, my job is not to betray myself. Let me say it one more time. I am the power cord. I am. Every single day when I wake up and put my feet on the floor, my job is not to betray myself. Again, that's by Viola Davis. That hit me so hard when I heard it, and it made me think about some things that I talked about with a couple of friends a while back about not being my own worst enemy. Because I think we focus on other people and we want to blame circumstances. We want to blame God. We want to blame our spouse, our partner, our friends. We want to blame our parents and the way we were raised. But most of the time, we are our own biggest enemy. And we have to sometimes protect ourselves from ourselves. Or the case of it being too is you have to look at it from the standpoint of, are you gaslighting yourself? Because you can't move forward in any capacity until you face the truth about who you are, and what you want to do. So that's why this quote really hit me, because it brought that conversation back to my mind where I'm saying, I can't gaslight myself. I can't lie to myself. I can't betray myself because I'm the first champion. I can't champion anyone else. I can't support anyone else fully until I champion myself. And I think that's the same thing that goes for when you're talking about love. I can't love anyone else properly until I love myself first. So we have to look at it from that standpoint. Everything starts at home. It starts internal to get external. Because external to internal usually doesn't work at all. So that is what we were looking at from last week's newsletter. So let's check out our next section.
Address it or let it slide.
So our address it or let it slide. I'm still working on the on the graphics with that, so have patience with me. Give me some feedback. If you know a way I can make it better, comment below and let me know that as well. Because I'm learning as I'm going. This week on this version of Address It or Let It Slide, someone you used to be good friends with, but the relationship ended badly, hits you up on social media like nothing ever happened. Do you address it or do you let it slide? I struggle with this one because I think it depends on the level of peace you've made with the ending of that relationship. Because if you're still hurt and you're still angry, you'll address it and you'll get in your feelings and you'll waste good energy and good time that could be better spent someplace else addressing it. But if you found a level of peace with it, you can just wish that person well and just let them know you don't want to rekindle the relationship. But let me know. Someone from your past hits you up and you were good friends and it didn't end well. They hit you up on social media and they act like nothing happened in the past, kind of like you just drifted apart. Do you address it or do you let it slide? And like I said, I think it all depends on where you are in your mind and your heart about the relationship. Because at this point, it's not really about them. Except for usually if someone has changed, it will be evident in the way they reach out to you. But if they want to pretend like nothing ever happened and that the elephant isn't standing in the room and the elephant isn't pink, it's best to just walk away because it'll be like banging your head up against the wall and the only one that's hurt is you and the only one that's bleeding is you. And you're allowing them to take up space that could be better filled by someone who is either already in your life that you need to bring closer in your inner circle or someone that God is waiting to bless and place in your life, but they don't want to do that while you got all this other baggage that you're holding on to because that would affect the new relationship. But like I said, just my opinion. I want to get a conversation going on. Let me know in the comments section if you would address it or if you would let it slide, and tell me why. I'm curious. I'm so curious. So let's get to the final section of our conversation, our quick conversation this evening. What else don't I know? What else don't I know? And as I stated last week, this is not just going to be about Black history, although that's going to be predominantly what it's about. It's just going to be interesting tidbits of information that I come across, whether it's through reading, watching interviews, or just general comments that make you think, I wonder how true or false that really is. Because sometimes people say something and you just take it at face value and it's not really true. So, for this week's What Else Don't I Know? Um, I was reading, I believe I got this, I was reading an article and I was listening to a podcast. Take that back. I was listening to a podcast and it hit me because, having helped my father and been a caregiver for my mom while she was sick, um, I thought this was very interesting. The psychiatrist that was on the being interviewed on the podcast said men are 624% more likely to leave their dying partner. I mean, imagine that. 624% more likely to leave their dying partner. Women are like, when it comes to just separating, women are 2.9% likely, whereas men are 21% likely to separate when a catastrophic illness hits their partner. And I find that really, really amazing because my dad, that never crossed his mind. In ways that I felt for him and have been praying for him because he lost his first wife and he stuck by her to the end. And then he lost my mom and he never wavered. He stuck by her to the end. So in my purview, that's not real. But based on what they're saying that's the case. Men get gone. They can't handle the pressure. They don't want to buckle down and keep their covenant vow of in sickness and in health. And that just really blew me away. So if you have any comments about that, let me know. Talk about that among yourselves too in the comment section. Thinking about your spouse, are you sure that they're going to stay when things get bad? Because like I said, in my small little circle, when I look at my dad, and then I've had, some of my aunts and uncles that have been married over, 60 plus years, and each one, lost a spouse first. Sometimes it was the woman, sometimes it was the man. Nobody abdicated their responsibilities. Everybody was there and loved them to the end. So in my family, I have not seen it. But in a couple of my friends, I've kind of seen it. When things got bad, the guy got gone. But I'm curious. Share your stories, good and bad, below as well. So that's all we're working with tonight on Knowledge Gumbo Conversations. Thank you for hanging out with me for this short little time. Before you go, please hit the like button, share this with someone who you think might benefit from the information. And again, if you're not already a subscriber to the newsletter, please, we'd love for you to join the family over there. There's the QR code for that. Also, let me hit you up with the link in the comment section. And I think that we got to keep this going, because we got to look at why it's not happening, or should I say why it's happening, and what kinds of things can we put into place to make this, keep going. So, like I said, thank you for hanging out. I wanted to tell you that I appreciate you giving your time, because that is one gift you can never get back. And it is always appreciated and never taken for granted. If you're watching the replay, I want to thank you again, because that's still time out of your life that you will never get back, that you are gifting to us to have this conversation. And I am eternally grateful. So take care of yourself, and we will definitely see you for next week Knowledge Gumbo Conversation. Take care.
Yeah. Beat drops heavy, heartbeat steady, ready.
Check the mirror, see a queen in the reflection. No doubt, full steam, no signs of deflection. Crown on my curls, world in my